Hi, everyone. Welcome to Writing Our Ancestors, a writing workshop by myself, Leslo Portela. Hi, I'm very honored that everyone has chosen me to take this journey with me if this is your first time doing any ancestor writing. Um, I just tell you a little bit about myself. I am a memoirist. Currently writing a memoir, and through my creative writing process, I had a professor who had us work with creative mapping and ancestor, and that just changed the trajectory of my writing. And I'm going to share some of those things with y'all today. So, hi, welcome. This is my ancestors. Unfortunately, most of them are not here with me anymore. My parents are not, and my grandparents. So, this is also, I look at what I write as building an archive, and it's also a community statement myself. I'm Boricua. I come from displaced people. My family had to leave with not much. So I feel like my writing is also building our history, the 7 generations before and 7 generations after. So let's get started. So So this is just a little bit about what Welcome loves. I'm very honored again that you have chosen to take this journey with me. I'm going to be sharing a few writing starts that I use to generate my art and my writing. Um, this is like another big obsession of mine is besides writing is also fashion. So I look at my writing starts. I have them like I have a closet full of like bags and accessories. That's how my writing starts. When I'm like really lost, this is how I've like managed to generate. I still can't believe I generated 300 words, 30,000 words on this. So, but I also believe even if you aren't a writer or an artist, ancestor work is also brought me a lot of closure and a lot of healing. So, and this can all be done through journal work. This is not just for writers. Yeah. So, with that, let's begin. So, very important, we're going to be asking energy to come to us. Let's come together with an open heart and a willingness to receive. Our ancestors are always with us, whether we are actively receiving them or not. They are here for us. Join me in a 1-minute cleansing of the space we're working in. I would suggest if anyone has anything they want to burn, I always suggest to burn to clear the space. Um, then the exercises that we're going to be prompts, you never know what will come to you. So that's what I suggest. I'm also going to burn something for the space as well. I have these palm leaves. This is an ode to my ancestor, my mom. She was a big Catholic, and she always was like burning palms. It was like something she did when things weren't going well. So in honor of her, that's what I'm going to burn today. So I'm going to set a timer for a minute, and I just want everyone to clear their thoughts, open their hearts. We're going to have everyone's going to share, and we are going to generate some things. So ask anything that you might want to learn today, anything you may want to receive, any messages. That's what I always do before I start this writing work. Okay. Okay. And we shall begin. Okay. So our first exercise, did everyone, I'm not sure if everyone has paper, journal, something to draw with, something to color. You can also use, I'm going to give you, if you don't want to draw, I do suggest that you do give that option, even if you're not a great drawer. If you have a photograph of the ancestor you want to channel, you can take that out now as well. If you have anything material of an ancestor, handed out clothes, heirlooms, letters, etc. Okay. These are the rules of the workshop. There are no rules. I don't believe in rules when we're writing. You write what you want, write in whatever language you want to write. I'm a big person of, we are, especially living in Miami, it's freed me the first time to really speak Spanish. I haven't spoken so much Spanish in my life. And we are just, you write whatever, however you want. We listen to each other to understand and uplift, not to respond. That's something I work with. My husband taught me that. He always tells me that you need to listen to receive, not to respond. I always say in writing, it's tremendously brave to share any kind of writing. So this isn't a writing workshop, like where we're being workshop and critique and we're getting ready to publish this. So you keep comments positive, keep what you love, find something you love in everyone's writing. You don't have to share your words, but I really encourage it. Hearing one's words spoken is power. And if you've never done it before, you're going to do it today. And I'm going to be the one to bring you there. Okay. I was going to pull it from my ancestors deck of cards, but I wanted to give I have also a crystal deck and I have a traditional tarot. So whatever, I want to give the space the option. What would you prefer? Does anyone do you mind the Grisella deck? That's from my reader. So it's up to y'all what you'd like. That's cool? Everyone's cool with that? Okay, I'll be right back.
And while she's getting her stuff, I didn't get to do the introduction this time. We're in a crazy home with 4 different meetings happening at once. So welcome to Red Tank Goddess and enjoy this beautiful masterclass by one of our sisters, Leslo. She has been our writer for a very long time, and it's nice to have her in her space. Thank you.
So I'm super superstitious with this deck because it was the deck that I got from my reader. She blessed it for me. So it only stays on my altar and I don't ever go anywhere. It stays there and it doesn't move there and I don't do anything until I'm ready to use it. So that's my superstition. So how many people do we have in the class? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6? Okay, so I'm going to shuffle.
We have 10 in total with you and me.
10 in total?
So
okay.
8 people.
Okay, well, I'm going to shuffle for everyone because I always write with y'all. So I'm going to shuffle 10. So we got East. This is good. This is the direction of the ancestor. East is the positive, it's the positive energy space that we're working with. So when you get East, that's always good. That means that the ancestors are with us. So good, we have something good to start with. That's why I always recommend burning the space. So this is going to be one of our first writing starts. I call this drawing a map of memory. So pick one of the 3 choices below, sketch in color for 10 minutes without stopping. You can write if you really are adverse to sketching or drawing. I just always say just to do a little, especially if you pick the first one, draw your childhood bedroom. The route to your school, your first year of school. If you lived in another country as a child, draw the first place that comes to mind when you think of that place, that country. Don't censor yourself. Draw and sketch whatever you remember, be as detailed as you can remember. Now, when I first did this, interesting enough to share, I didn't draw a childhood bedroom because I really didn't ever have my own childhood bedroom. I started sketching outfits that I had. And that's how I would remember like things in my house and things that I was wearing. So that brought up something for me, but that also, it brought up so many memories and so many things by doing that. So even now I sketch always little fashion things. Okay, so everyone has their tools. Everyone is good. They understand the directions. Any questions? Everyone's good? Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all 10 minutes. See you in 10.
Does everyone have it written down and I can maybe put on some music? I'll take off the screen share and put on some music. Yeah? Hi.
Om Namo Kali Kali Om Namo Om Namo Kali Kali Om Namo. Oh, Great Mother, we invoke you in this space. Take away the pain and fill us with your grace. Oh, Great Mother, we invoke you in the space. Take away the pain and fill us with your grace. Burn it all away, Kali, burn it all away. If it doesn't serve us, then burn it all away. Burn it all away, Kali, burn it all away. If it doesn't serve us, then burn it all away. Om Namo Kali Kali Om Namo. 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 Oh, Great Mother, we invoke you in this space. Take away the pain and fill us with your grace. Oh, Great Mother, we invoke you in this space. Take away the pain and fill us with your grace. Burn it all away, Kali, burn it all away. If it doesn't serve us, then burn it all away. Burn it all away, Kali, burn it all away. If it doesn't serve us, then burn it all away. Om Namo Kali through the passage of these rites, with the wisdom of the cycle, in the mother blood that gives me life, in the waking of her daughter, in the bearing of these bones, to the birthing waters, where I find myself reborn. I honor my lineage, as I honor my lineage, as I honor my lineage, I honor my lineage, as I dance on the spiral, through the passage of these rites, with the wisdom of the cycle, in the mother blood that gives me life, in the waking of her daughters, in the bearing of these bones, to the birthing waters, where I find myself reborn. I honor my lineage, I honor my lineage, as I honor my lineage, I honor my lineage, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral.
Okay, everyone, just under a minute, 54, 53 seconds.
I hear your voice, I hear your call. Ancestors dance with me, ancestors chant with me. I hear your voice, I hear your call. In my blood, in my bones, I hear your voice, I hear your call. Ancestors dance with me, ancestors chant with me. I hear your voice, I hear your call. In my blood, in my bones, I hear your voice.
Okay, everyone. Whew. How was that?
When you can put on your screen share again, now we can.
Yeah, give me one sec, everyone. Okay. So like I said to everyone, this is the beginning of what I call the ancestor map, what we just did today. And I hope everyone's willing to share. And even if you just want to just talk about what you did or how it made you feel, you don't necessarily have to share exactly, what you wrote unless you want to, or what you drew. It's all up to y'all. Okay. So, and as I also mentioned, also the beginning of our personal archive. So who wants to go first? Jasmine, is it okay if we stop sharing while we stop screen share, while we share, so we all look at each other?
For sure.
I feel it's more intimate. Okay, let me stop. Sorry. Give me one sec. All right. Okay.
Molly.
I was just about to raise my hand anyway. I'm like one of the only people on camera, so I will go first. This was really fun. Thanks, Leslo. And like, we're just getting started, so I'm excited. So I drew my childhood bedroom, and I did it like blueprint style. So my sister Catherine and I shared a room, and I slept over on this side, and then that was her side. And we shared a desk and a dresser, and then over here were our closets. And I put the little dotted lines because at one point we got into a really heated fight, and we put tape down down the line. And my side was my side and hers was her side. And so it was one way to try to keep the peace, I guess. But I did that pretty quickly. So I went on to draw the rest of our house in Ohio, and I moved around a lot. So I have several houses to draw. So I'm kind of excited about this. So I'm not going to go through all the details, but I think some things that were really interesting was, so I drew the third floor, which includes Catherine and I's bedroom. And I remembered that we had an office, which was a fourth bedroom. And so I was like, hey, why didn't I get my own bedroom if we had a fourth bedroom? Like, hey, wait a minute, mom and dad. I'm like, what did we use the office for? I can't remember. And then as I was drawing parts of the house, it was cool. I was having memories. Like I remember laying here on the family room, like right by the entrance to the kitchen, and coloring. I remember getting sick in this bathroom. Like I think I had food poisoning or something like that. And I made it to 7 while we were in this house. So these are pretty little memories. And then I drew our basement. So the basement was half our play area here. And then the other half was like laundry room. So there's the washer and dryer and stuff. And I have scary part, scarier part, scariest part. So this is like through the lens of a 7-year-old, right? And the scary part was scary because you had to pull a cord light. There wasn't a light switch to light that part of the basement. And how interesting is this statement, right? I wrote, you had to walk in the dark to turn on the light. And I didn't like that as a kid, right? And then also, I will never forget these stairs because I made a little circle over here and I said, this is where I was when my sisters locked me in the dark. So it was a really simple, like childhood memory, but when I did gratitude training, it came up as one of my most painful memories. My sisters, just being kids, ran up the stairs, turned off the light and shut the door. And I was about halfway, like barely up the stairs when it happened. And so yeah, that's just like, it's one of my more painful memories from childhood because I just remember being like trapped in the dark. And at 6 or 7, that's like the scariest thing that you can be, right? Like what happens in the dark. So it was kind of interesting for all of those memories. Thank you. Yeah. To come up while I was drawing, I love the idea of this kind
Thank you.
of ancestral archive. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm not done. Like thank you for being the first one. I'm not done. We're gonna actually do a little dissecting on that too.
Sure.
And like get an idea who your ancestor is, because it's not always who you think it is.
Right.
Does anyone else want to share?
Hi, this is Rose. I will share.
Hi, Rose. Thank
Hi.
you.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. So I chose the question, the first place that came up from my birth country, since, I wasn't born and raised here. And the first thing that came to mind was, it's in Europe and it was very green. And the first place that came up was, we have like nature and parks, pond with trees and the ducks in there. So I actually made a picture of it. And also, memories start coming up. This is a place I used to go, and during my teenage years, I guess me and my then boyfriend, went there a lot. And we actually have a tree that we carved our name in there. And so when I was an older teenager, that kind of didn't work out. And it was a quite challenging circumstances around the breakup. And that's kind of what came up for me around that. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me I don't know why that view did that. It like freaks me out. Wow, that's what I love about this is like so much stuff, like everybody's different places in your life comes up. But that's why I love the idea of your first few years, because that forces you to start in a place subconsciously and then you go wherever. I mean, I've done a couple of these when I'm stuck in my memoir, like my memoir takes place and what I'm writing about takes place from me being very little. And a lot of the things that I've done in doing these exercises and writing and all this are things that there's no way that I would know it, just maybe I was aware of it. Maybe I saw it. Like not all of it is pretty. Not all of it is great, but family members have verified this. Like there's things of people's material of clothing that I wouldn't know. So you'll be amazed at what comes up, good, bad, but just always what I do suggest is just take care of yourself, because not all of it is always,
Yes.
fuzzy and peachy. So if anything came up for anyone, even if you don't want to share that, just make sure you sage yourself, like do some self-care, because we're working with energies and things. But yeah, thank you. So
one thing that came up when Molly showed, the picture of the house, I'm like, I might have to do this class again. I didn't feel really right now ready for that. I guess there's a lot of things to resolve there.
I'm here for y'all. I'm always here for y'all for this. I'm telling you, this has probably saved my life a couple times. Does anyone else want to share?
I'll share.
Yay.
My first memory, what I thought about was when I was 6, 7 years old, and I was in a school in Spain, a convent, an all-girls Catholic school, and I drew the courtyard because I don't know if you can see it, but it has arches and a door, and it's because that's the place where we would go for recess. And I remember getting my knee there. And then I thought, well, I was really small and I don't remember a lot because I moved a lot. Every year we had a different house. But there was a year when I was 13 where I was sharing my bedroom with my brother. And I don't know if you could see it, but those are the beds. And here there were some staircases and there was a walk-in closet with staircases going up, and I used to love that because I would play with Barbies there, and I would hide there. People were at the house and I didn't want to see them, and I loved those staircases. I would go up to an attic that was locked, and that was like my place where I would kind of hide from the rest of the world. So I remember that. Thanks for letting me share.
Y'all have lived such interesting lives. Like I could sit here and listen to it forever. So interesting, just on like that level. Does anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I can share. This is Marilucci.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hola.
So, well, first I want to share how excited I'm also about this class. For a long time, I've been having this challenge to go back and, journal, write. I used to, and then life happens, and then, it punch you in the face, and then you just don't want to go there anymore. So it's very interesting. And now with this exercise, things kind of started happening. Well, I also have several different houses when I was little, but I remember and this room by an angle. I don't know why, but this is it. So the brown part is the closet, and you see the door at the end. I think I was sleeping always in this bed. I guess this is my sister bed, and I remember very scary moments when this door was open, and I'm seeing my parents watching a show. I don't remember what was it, but it was like a horror movie or something like that. And I remember being there, like just very scary. And then I jumping to my sister's bed for quite several nights. I remember that. And I don't know why I did it in an angle. And I was while drawing, I was thinking, well, how can one explain this? And this is the closet. I was thinking, just having this kind of block in my mind that how I'm going to explain this. But now I'm kind of recalling and finding out why, because I was very scared. Very scary place. When I remember, we lived there maybe until was I 5 or 6, and then we moved to the other house, and then I think until I was like maybe 8 or 9, we moved to another apartment. So this was very, very early memories, maybe 4, 5, and maybe that was it. Maybe that's some of the blockage that I have, even though I have older, that my diaries was stolen from me. So that's that's the block I've been having to go back to journal. So thank you for this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So anyone else want to share?
So I have my house is in my head, and I've lived in the same place my entire life, pretty much until I decided to leave and end up with a bunch of boyfriends to get out of the house. But pretty much to the house that my mom is in, that Marlou Martin showed a few seconds ago, that's where I was born. And I lived there until I was like 18. And I jumped from room to room. So I technically had a room in every single one of the rooms. At some point, I think I even ended up sleeping a little bit like in the living room or even in the dining room at some times, in the car, on the roof. So I've slept everywhere. And what I remember was the one that is now my grandmother's room. It was my room. And I don't remember much. I'll have to ask my mom, except for the bed. And there was a walk-in closet. And the walk-in closet at that time, I don't believe had a door, but now it has a door that enters into my niece's room, which was my last room in the house. So noticing the connection and how like all of us have switched rooms in the house was very interesting, and how we've had to share energies, and how I probably have never saged the house until after I left. So I was like, that was interesting to think about. So thank you.
I also envy that you have like this in a way that's good. Like I envy everyone's stories. I love stories, but being nomadic is amazing too. But also that you can go back to, and if you really want to, and you're like, go at your own risk. So just letting you know, conjure all kinds of stuff. But you can go there and you can like kind of conjure up stuff that I can never, because my childhood home is no longer there anymore. But yeah.
I'd love to learn more about that.
We can keep doing this. I can do this forever. Is anyone else? Okay, so everyone who shared, I want you to just jot down. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Just jot down. So don't think too much about this. Who was around in all these memories? Was there any prominent figure in any of these memories? Someone that you remember? And you're going to put that aside. And then when we're done with the next exercise, I want to see if something is, I'm doing a little Frankenstein here. Kind of seeing if my experiment works. It usually is correct. Okay, so everyone has shared? Everyone is good? Everyone has written down you want me to repeat the questions? Just who was there in those memories? If there's any prominent figures that you can remember, like one person who, also, if anyone did it in their childhood bedrooms, if you remember, what was the one thing you like to do that made you happy that you can remember very early? That's a really good way to drum up things and journal on that. I journal on that ever so often. And like, that's how I realized I'm a terrible drawer, but I draw little outfits that I'm going to learn how to sew, because that's what I used to do with my grandmother and my mom. I used to sew with them. And I didn't remember that until I did this. So see how stuff can just come up. Okay, so just remember that, jot that down, and then we're going to go on the next one. Jaslyn, are we okay with time? Time's okay?
Yep, it's 7:40. You're doing good.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so does everyone have a picture of your ancestor or an ancestral object? Did anyone bring that? Everyone? Even if you don't have an ancestor, if there's someone that you identify with, any era, any of that will work. I'm gonna share this, but I'm also gonna let y'all know. If I had better internet, I would have taken y'all to my living room, and hopefully I can do this in person. And I want to eventually have these more intimate in my house. I have a really beautiful yard, and in my dining room, I have my grandmother's mirror. And it's a mirror that she got like years ago. And I actually was there with her when she got it. It was in this Hasidic market in Spanish Harlem. La Maqueta that's not even there no more. And she was secondhand, and she kept layawaying on it. And that came up. And that's been sitting in my, I don't even know how I ended up with it. It's been passed down since her death, and she died in 1989. So that would be my object if I was doing this. And she's my ancestor, if y'all haven't already guessed.
So we hadn't put that you needed something for this masterclass in the thing. So do they need this, or is there a way that we can go around it if they don't have?
Yeah, definitely. If you don't have anything, I always say go to an era that feels like home to you. Like, for instance, like me, an era that feels like home to me would be like the 80s, and like the mid 70s. Like, go in there, and even if you want to Google that year, the year that you were born is also a good way to start. Google the year that you were born, Google the fad or the music, the top 20 on the day that you were born. Things like that can also help you if you don't have that. If you do, great. If you don't, just do that in the Google. Okay. And I also put that if you don't have either, return to that child or place we just drew, the map we just did. What did that child like to eat, to wear? Yeah.
We have a question in the chat. If this ancestor is still alive, great grandmother, is that okay?
Yes. One of my ancestors is still alive, my titi. So, and also, like I said, if you don't have that, if you get stuck, when I did this class before with my students, I have my students use their birthday outfit from the first birthday they can remember, or what they wore the first day of their first job, if you are writing in more current time. And I just always say, just start describing. Either you describe the outfit, you describe the person, you describe the moment, whatever it is, just start describing, and then just go from there. Okay. And I'm going to give y'all 10 minutes. Okay, everyone ready? Okay. See you in 10. Okay, everyone. How did that feel? Is Jocelyn?
I'm here.
Okay.
My Zoom retrograde, it keeps stopping and closing for whatever reason today. That's never happened ever in my entire life. So I'm turning off my video and seeing if that helps.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a retrograde kind of day today. Does anyone want to share?
Hi, it's Noelle.
Hi, Noelle.
Hi. I had connection issues getting in, so I'm not 100% sure what we're supposed to be doing. So I don't know if I've done it right or wrong. So I'll just tell you what happened, and hey, I'm sure we'll be fine.
There's no right or wrong.
So basically, I actually went to a memory of my grandparents' house. And my grandfather, who had a old wood burning stove he used to cook on, and he used to make the most fabulous breakfasts on this we're talking an old time pilgrim type stove, not pilgrim, but because I lived from out west, so and so it was an incredible stove, and the food that came off of it was the most amazing food ever. And I remember him. He died when I was only like 8 or 9, but I remember him, in his overalls, and in the backyard there was this incredible garden that I remember going in and picking the vegetables fresh off of the plants and eating them back there. It's like a memory like you would expect a old time, Western experience, kind of out in more out in the country, even though it was in a small town. But it was a really good memory.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I
Thank
love all
you.
these. Oh, I love these. Does anyone else want to share? You can also share how the process felt for you as well if you don't want to share exactly what. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. You share what you like. And Jaslyn, do you want to share? I'm going to call on you.
If you could please put up the share screen again. And for me, I have this little, it's like a little clock. It's about the size of my thumb, and it's a golden clock. And it was my grandmother's from my father's side. And I don't have a lot of memories with it, but I do have what my father has told me about it, which it was my grandma specifically passed it down to me as that, with a bracelet that was also gold that has my name on it that she made for me before her death. And she used to carry around this little clock, and she would go with it for whatever reason in each room. And it was her mother's. It was the last thing that she had of her mother. And this little clock, it used to work perfectly fine. And the day that my grandmother died, my dad knew, like, when he picked her up to take her to the hospital, he also took the clock with him to the hospital. And at the hospital, when after they officially had said that she's dead, she's not going to be able to come back from this, the clock, when he checked it, wasn't working. And we don't know what specific time that she ended, but it's at a specific time, and we have decided to say that was the time that she died. And it was just so interesting that she had a big connection to this little clock, and it's just nuts. So I carry around that little clock, and it's like having her in my house and having her on my altar and so on and so forth. She was the sweetest soul I have ever met to this day. And she just loves me so much. And one of the last things that she had said that my dad told me was that, please take care of Jasmine, because she loves me too. So thank you.
So she's your ancestor.
Yeah.
If you haven't figured that out already. She also, I will ask everyone when we're done with our share, if the question I was going to ask y'all. Does anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I want to share. So interesting because, well, I knew from the beginning was my grandmother from my dad's side. And let me see if I can find it again. I don't have it yet, but I remember my grandmother always praying and with a rosary and with her little books and stamps from the saints and all that. So I had that, I will say her teachings, for me was just to be in that space of always very spiritual and very, in a way to worship, God. Though in a way, sometimes it felt a little bit kind of like harsh because she was very strict sometimes and feisty and, just very strict, very in a way that everything has to be perfect in a way. But it's this shawl. I had it's a shawl, that they put in her head every time that they go to mass and all that, and it's waiting for me along with this other. It's red, so that it's like a house bata, I don't know. And then
Sí,
this
bata.
is one other is other waiting for me.
Oh.
I'm coming to Panama in July, and I had a session, like a Reiki session lately, and twice she has come through and said to me, what you're doing, or whatever it is that you want to serve, just keep doing it. So I know since then she's been there with me since she passed almost maybe 17 years ago. So yeah, that. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. It's beautiful. I love all these stories. I love all seeing the pictures. It's just so beautiful. Does anyone else want to share?
Hi, this is Rose.
Hi, Rose.
I just wanted to share that I used my mother's ring and my grandmother's ring. And it's pretty profound how it kind of went from, my mother, some memories there. And then I ended up, actually, having some memories from when I was smaller. And it just naturally also, I started writing in my native language, to a time when I was really young with my father. And so that's kind of where, I ended up in my childhood home with a particular event that me and my father used to do and enjoy very much. So, yes.
How often do you write in your native language?
I actually started since COVID. I basically left 30 years ago and I kind of left. And, occasionally when my family was alive, I still spoke in that language. When COVID came about, I started getting some anxiety and there was the time there and I decided, that it was time to address some things. So since COVID started is when I have reconnected with my language and it was just fluent, came back writing, just fluently came back after 30 years. And that's when a lot of things started opening up for me when I started doing that, because, I just kind of left and closed that whole chapter of my life.
Yes, I would encourage you to at least once or twice a week journal in your native language and just like free thought.
Oh, I do.
Oh, wow. See, that's why I wonder, I never realized that my father spoke a different dialect than my mother did. My mother was born in the United States. She was born in New York. She was the first one born. And she was fluent in both languages, but she spoke to us. I don't ever not remember understanding Spanish. I always understood it, whether I spoke it or spoke it perfectly, but I always understood it. My grandmother didn't speak English. But my father, I remember he used to say a lot of these weird words. and I wouldn't know what they would mean until a writer that she just published a book, Ordinary Girls, and she voiced it to me. She's like, it's campo jíbaro español de Puerto Rico. And I'm like, oh my, that's what it is. Like, so it's like these men now, when I wish that she's writing the book in the Spanish, I'm going to get it, because I bet you it'll bring up like all kinds of things of my dad. Language is such a big thing, language and music. It just brings up so many memories. So you are well on your way if you're journaling in that language. Beautiful. Does anyone else want to share? So what I wanted to ask everyone, if everyone had an ancestor in mind, did it match the idea you had? Like what you got in the map that we drew of the house and of the country, all your maps, did it match who you brought into the workshop? If you brought someone, did it match the ancestor you've been writing to? That I find that usually is the case. I find if you're in this workshop, you already kind of know who you're writing to, and it's just a matter of learning the practices. So we shared. I would like to call this as the last writing start that we're going to do. This is the first draft to an archive. So we have our little map. We wrote a little, or drew of what, or have pictures of what the ancestor object, the ancestor. Now we're going to do a little draft. We're going to do a little writing. So these are some, and you can do whatever you'd like, but these are just some ideas that can give you the first shopping trip you can remember, wherever that was, in here, another country, the first shopping trip that you can vividly remember as a child, the first family picture you appeared in, the first party event you was the center of. Like, I remember a birthday party at, like, I was very little, in a dress, and later on I found the picture of it, and I was really, really little. Your favorite thing to wear, watch, or play with as a child. I come back to that a lot because I think a lot of us don't remember. Like, that's, to me, I'm really big on healing the inner child. And I think that's, if you play to the inner child, that to me goes a long way to the healing. So sometimes we don't always remember what we did when we were little, because, you know, I say we were our coolest when we were little. And my kids get depressed when mommy says that, because they're like, oh, we're never going to be that cool. Okay, so don't overthink it. Just write. Don't put the pen down. Just go where it goes. And you can use other starts if you'd like. So I'm going to give everyone 10 minutes again. And I'll see you then.
Everybody got it? No questions? I'm going to start the music.
Everyone's good? Do
Bye.
you want me to stop share, Jaslyn?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
cannot be lost, and our spirit cannot be broken. Our wisdom cannot be lost, and our spirit cannot be broken. Awaken to your power. Awaken to your power. Awaken to your power. Awaken to your power. Where do I go to find images of woman made? Where do I go to find images of woman made? Our wisdom cannot be lost, and our spirit cannot be broken. Our wisdom cannot be lost, and our spirit cannot be broken. Our wisdom cannot be lost, and our spirit cannot be broken. Our wisdom cannot be lost, and our spirit cannot be broken. Awaken to your power. Awaken to your power. Awaken to your power. Awaken to your power.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears.
Okay, everyone, can everyone hear me? I want to share something. I want to share something about, I always call my mom butterflies. And in my yard, we have these little dotted, I call them leopard print. Leopard print was my mother's favorite print. I went outside to ground myself on the earth because I'm also an empath and I wanted to clear myself. I absorb a lot of energy. And there was a cluster of butterflies. I don't know if everyone can see that. Can everyone see? It's a cluster of butterflies. I'll even put it in the WhatsApp chat. But it was like a gift that, my mom was here and so that's what I saw it as. But, yeah, just wanted to share. Okay. So how was that for everyone? Jasmine, is it okay if I leave this? Do you want me to leave it like this to share, or do you want me to stop the screen share and do gallery?
I think you should stop screen share so we can see
Okay.
all each other's faces.
Okay, cool. Cool. So if everyone saw, and I also put the little butterflies, they really felt like it was a gift. Does anyone want to go first to share? Jasmine, do you want to go?
I've already gone twice. Hold on. Can we see if anybody else can go first? Who has not spoken yet? Tass, I see you're here. Can we call you out, sis?
Hi.
Hi.
I actually had to step out for this part, so I kind of did not do the last exercise. So I don't know if I can share.
Well, you can share anything else you'd like to share, how the workshop was for you, anything you did, any of the other ones you did.
Yeah, well, it's been a cool experience. I don't have a lot of memory because my home is in Bangladesh and I've only gone there like about 4 times, but connecting with my great grandmother or my mother's side who's still alive has been a cool experience, and I feel like the the block of thinking I can't connect with them because they're super far away, and language barrier and life barrier. Even if I spoke to them, like that's not a block anymore, that I can like connect with them at a much
Yeah.
deeper level. So I have my dad's mother, they're both the same age. My maternal side, they all had kids really young. So to continue this exercise and do it again for my dad's mom, my grandma on that side, because I feel like they're both pretty close to joining the spirit world, and I want to be able to connect with them as much as I can.
Yeah.
So thank you for creating this space.
Thank you. Just like your stories all warm my soul.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Does anybody else want to share? Oh, hold on a second. My cat just came in. Give me 1 second. Loves. I feel like cats conspire to just like running up in every Zoom there is. They just have to show. There has to be someone's cat. It has to be what my mom used to call presenta. Like that's my cat. She always has to come in and take all the attention away from the room. But yeah, enough about my cat. Does anyone else want to share? No pressure. This was beautiful. Everyone was really, really participated, and I felt like really good. Like I see the women, mostly women, and a couple of men that have been written in this space.
So believe it or not, for whatever reason, when I think about ancestral anything, for whatever reason, I think 100+ years from now, and I didn't even consider doing ancestral magic with my grandmother involved. Even though she's been in my altar, I've never like called her in to help with a ritual, just because like she wasn't a witch, she was very Christian, and I didn't even think about it. So now I'm very interested in learning a little bit more on how I can kind of bring her into this space and her love into this space. And I was already coming up with ideas. So I can't believe I was blinded, a complete blind spot. So thank you for that. And the other thing, I won't read everything that I wrote, but I was thinking about the clock again. And the first time that I had picked up the clock, and how the day that she had told me that when I die, I'd like to give you the clock. And I was like, okay. And she was trying to explain what death was to me. Because I was like, so like, you're just gonna leave for vacation and you're gonna come back. So the same day that I got the clock, funny enough, was the day that she explained what death was to me. And hi, kitty. Oh, cute. And one of my favorite foods to this day is like a soup made from malanga. And it's just malanga and like coconut milk with a little bit of sugar in it and some salt. And that's like heaven to me. And it just brings me back to the perfect days as a childhood of coming from school and having the boys bully me and stuff like that. And going into her house, and she had malanga ready for me, and she would clean my boots. She taught me. To this day I don't do this anymore, and now I was thinking about it or writing about it, and like I'm gonna bring this back as a practice in my house of cleaning my shoes. She used to clean my shoes every single day. I don't think I'll do it every day, but just I remember how nice it was to have white shoes all the time, and she'd get mad at me if I had them dirty. So I used to take an extra pair of shoes to school for recess just so that she didn't have to clean those. So it was just a cute little like reminder of life and grandmothers and their love for us. So thank you. And this was an amazing masterclass. I think I may borrow what you did, like practice sharing. We normally leave the sharing for the end, or we do like a baby sharing. And I thought this was very powerful. So thank you for opening my eyes to more than I even thought was possible during this masterclass.
I share with people every day, like almost every day. I do a lot of writing workshops and classes and stuff, so I'm used to it. But I really think not only that, I think that a lot of people don't even realize they're poets and writers until they hear their voices spoken. Like I think people just focus on how we write and what especially like I brought that back with language and grammar and things like that. And we're a multicultural society. We have 1,000 different words. Even English is a language that's made up of a bunch of things. And when you speak it, it just brings so much power to it. And you see how much beautiful I feel everyone's a writer. So yeah, even if it's just your story you write, everyone's a writer. So thank you everyone for this. I mean, this was amazing. I really had a great time. I hope everyone had a fun time. I hope everyone learned something. I apologize for Electra Abundance. She is just special, my cat.
Kitties are always welcome.
You never apologize for kitty cats. I'm serious. I love them. So I think she's absolutely adorable.
You've never met her in person. Trust me. I'm going to apologize. When you meet her in person, I'm still going to apologize because she will do something. She will test you.
Oh, no, I love kitty cats. But thank you so much. You actually brought out a memory or a realization that I have never had ever. And it literally changes, it really changes kind of in a lot of ways everything. And it's kind of like a private memory. So it's not something I want to necessarily share, but it was one that I had a story in my mind, and this memory made me realize that my story was not 100% accurate. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. That's great when that happens. And like I said, this is not just for writing, this is for healing. You know, I started doing this when my mom passed away. My mom passed away in 2017. My grandmother was always my ancestor. She was always she was on my altar. I asked her for things. But my mother is becoming my ancestor. So, I mean, I hope that no one has to have that happen too young. It's a club that I think I'm too young to be in, but I don't have both my parents. So they are my ancestors as well. And now I'm working. And that's why I say about self-care, because these are ancestors that are very, very close. And some of the stuff that they've done is very, very close. Your grandparents my daughter's relationship with my mother was very different than my relationship with her. And she sees her very differently. So just be gentle with yourself on these things. And I don't remember who said that. Was it Noelle who said that about the memory of the truth?
Yeah, it's Noel. Yeah, and I'm actually very, very grateful for that, because I mean, I was like, wow. I never, because like in my mind, I've always had this hole, for the lack of a better word. And I realized that memory with my grandfather actually filled the hole.
Okay. But always remember too, I always say your truth is one version of the story. Always keep that in your head. So especially if you're not writing a memoir and you're just trying to heal, that also I think helps as well. Yeah. But that is a great realization as well, that you see how I've seen that with other people, not so much my parents, but with like past friendships and lovers and things like that. So you're right. This can bring that up too. Okay, does anyone have any questions, any comments, concerns? The playlist was great too, Jocelyn. Thank you.
Thank you. I actually put it in the chat so that if anybody wants it, it is the Red Tent Goddess Sisterhood playlist. So, yay.
Okay, so I don't have anything else. If anyone, if anything else is on the agenda, not sure.
So we have two options. We could either do a little bit of a sharing circle and just share in general on life. If we don't have anything else to say about the masterclass, maybe we can talk about like what you've done with Ancestry, or anyone's done with Ancestry, or what your week was like, anything you'd like to share whatsoever, or we can close it and I can mention what the next events are and such. So you girls tell me what you want.
Whatever y'all would love.
Pass, Rose, Mom.
I'd like to know when regarding ancestral altars, like I'd like to write all these writings. I'd like to put them in the altar around with pictures of my father and my grandmother and that have passed away, and then call them out loud and tell them I miss you and I'm here, and guide me. I need your guidance. And what else am I missing? What else can I do other than clearing the space beforehand, of course, and praying and having and calling them in and writing afterwards so that I can get the guidance from them. What else is missing? I feel like something's missing.
Do you ever try putting, I've been doing this with my writing when I'm trying to manifest opportunities with my writing. I write little index cards of little things, and I put it in this little, I have this copper, this is a different altar. This is my prosperity altar. But I think maybe you want to try that, like get some index cards and put little jot notes or a little story about and keep the index card so it's a small story. You put the most details in it, and then maybe put it in a little container and call them that way. I don't know, that helps.
Okay, thank you.
I also buy my grandmother. I buy my grandmother ever so often. She used to like the Maya makeup, if I'm saying it right. Remember the Maya Spanish makeup with the lady? She used to buy that, and so sometimes I bought her one for my altar. Like I'll buy her a little something ever
Talcum
6
powder,
months. Yes,
right?
yes. My grandmother used to use that, so I bought it for her when I saw her here because I'm from New York and we don't have like the Navarro. There's a Botanica and there's all these like Spanish brands and the Violet, the perfume. None of that stuff. You have to go look for that in New York because the population, the Caribbean Spanish population, is not the same anymore. So I was very excited when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, my grandmother, and I bought it for her. So you might try that as well. Just little tips.
Okay, thanks.
Does anybody else have? I know there's a lot of altar people who do altars here. I always look for different tips of altars.
Well, I can share. I have an altar too, and I have little things that I used to have that belonged to my grandmother. Well, the last one that I got was a little how do you call these little things to grab when you are cooking, like the gloves? But it was a little thing that I made. I totally forgot about that, and then rescued that. My aunt told me that she had it, so she saved that for me. So that's in my altar. And one other thing that I wanted to say, as you mentioned, for at least for me, memory still is a little. I have some memory, so this exercise was so good to remember specific time. Like for example, the family picture, I kind of went to that moment and kind of find myself in the room and the plans around that. But one of the things that amazed me now that I have children is that, with all the technology and all the pictures that we have and the accessibility to those memories are like broader, like it's even more. I have a 17-year-old and a 21, and since birth they have lots of pictures and lots of. It's totally different era. So I'm really grateful for this workshop, and also the work that most of us are doing with ancestors, and not just remembering and going back to my grandmother, my great grandmother, and 7 before, but now them with then in the future with my grandchildren and so forth. It's going to be amazing, or it is amazing right now. At least for me, I see it like, wow, we're really changing the story. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I wanted to know if I created an ancestral healing area in the goddess library, if anybody would be interested in adding some information in there, just because, wow, I just can't believe we haven't yet. And I think it'd be really cool for all of us to share like little pieces, maybe the stories that we created today, our houses, and just so that we can start doing some ancestral healing in general as a sisterhood. What do you guys
Yes, and
think?
pictures. We could put pictures.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Okay, I love it. It's happening. Give me 5 minutes, I'll make it happen.
And I love how everyone had positive feelings about the pictures for the most part, because I actually borrowed that picture prompt. It was a couple weeks ago. We did that with this is based in Portland, Oregon, but everyone's from all over the place. And it's a Zoom writing workshop. And she brought up about what was the first picture you remember being in. And it just brought up, like, some people didn't have pictures. Some people had never had a family. I don't have any pictures of my father ever. I don't think it exists. So it brought up like, for this was mostly happy because it was ancestors, but because she made it family, That's why I was careful with that prompt too. I want to keep as positive as possible. But yeah, I have stuff that I can also share as well, Jaslyn. It's just like that with me, I write so much. So sometimes if I disappear, it's because I have no more words left. That can happen to a writer. We can lose words. Okay. So I would like to burn. I burned something. I don't know if anyone wants to burn anything as well. Am I frozen? Can you guys hear me?
I hear you great, and I see you.
Okay, perfect. We want to close it with a minute thanking the ancestors that we called. Is that cool?
So yes, and at the end, I just want to make sure that I mention the events that are coming out, and I'll have the ancestor healing thing done by then.
Okay, so we're going to just say a minute, slowly close your eyes, thank the ancestors. And I'm burning something to clear the space as well. Okay. I'm saying thank you to my mother, Rosita. I see you, mommy. I see the butterflies. Ashe. Okay. Okay, Jasmine, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen really quickly. Okay, hold on. I've got like 100 things open. There you go. Thank you, sisters, for your patience today. Okay, so we've got upcoming events. Everyone hears me perfectly fine? Yes, okay. So for the upcoming events, by the way, I have updated this. So in the site, now there's events, which has all of the events, all of them. Then there's sister events. So if you only have the sisterhood, you can go here and you can just see what comes with the sisterhood. Now we've created the goddess embodiment inner circle, so you can see specifically the events for there. And we have the Red 10 Goddess Academy events, both for the Enchantress and the Priestess program. So it's much easier for you to see what's coming. And each one now, we've created an opportunity for you. So if you'd like to come to Goddess Embodiment, first off, the next one's free on the 27th. But if you want to come to the ones in June, as an example, now we've set up a calendar. You can see everything here, when everything is, it's all set up. If you click these little ones, so today was Ancestral Writing, which Leslo did amazing on. Tomorrow we have the Enchantress program, which you can also see here if you would like to open it. And the next one for the sisterhood is going to be on Tuesdays. So if you see, we've been keeping the sisterhood events on Tuesdays. So it's boom, 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 all Tuesdays. The next one's going to be the full moon event, which we're going to be talking about your first bleed and the story that you created on your first bleed. And a lot of people have stories of like, I didn't even know, I thought I was dying. I didn't know what was happening to me, or I was just given a pad and told to put it on, and I put it on backwards and I had no idea what I was doing. So we have all kinds of stories that need to be healed. And that itself is generational healing, being able to heal that yourself and moving that forward. So we're going to be talking about those kind of stories, sharing a lot, being able to hear each other's. And then the next new moon event, we're actually going to start doing like a part 1 and part 2 is what we're creating at the moment. And we're going to be creating a red tent party. And this red tent party is going to be as if you had just gotten your first bleed again. And we're going to visualize what that looks like and so on and so forth. We do ask you to not bring your daughter to these 2 events. Why? Because we're going to be doing something similar in the Daughters of the Red Tent. So just don't bring your daughter yet, because we're going to be doing something similar, but less adulty, less up there and more very easy for them to understand. So the next event, Flower Essence and Remedies Masterclass, is by Rose Cologne, which we're really excited about, and she's on this call. So Rose, do you want to say anything about the Flower Essence Masterclass before I continue? Are you there, Rose?
I forgot to unmute myself. I'm really excited about it, to share this with the sisters. And, I have a lot of information to share. So it is basically, people will be able to make their own essences, learn about essences. So it's pretty comprehensive. So I'm really excited about this.
Oh, thank you, Rose.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she's got a lot to offer there. So we're really excited about that one. The next one after that, we already set up the entire June in the calendar. Oh, wait, hello, June, come back. Baby, come back. There it is. Okay, no, wait, June. You can do it, buddy. You got this. No, you're just gonna annoy me? What is going on today? Okay, so I'll split down. So if you go down from the calendar, which now we have set up for you, and if now it's having problems because hashtag retrograde, that's perfectly fine. We have the free embodiment, goddess embodiment, which is going to be the day after, the 2 days after the full moon event. And it's going to be practices continuing forth. So we're going to go into a practice of getting to know your menstrual cycle as if it was its own person. Because one of the things I like to say often is that we have 4 women within one. So if you do not have a menstrual cycle anymore, we're going to be talking about moon cycles too, and how we have 4 women in one, in our moon and menstrual cycles. And you'll be able to meet different personas of yourself per phase of the moon cycle / menstrual cycles. It's going to be a really cool practice. We're going to particularly get to know your menstrual phase or your new moon phase, that woman that comes out during that time period, what she likes to eat, what she likes to do, and what's best for her. It's going to be a really cool practice. So it's going to be completely free. The flower essence we talked about, the enchantress, the priestess program, the new moon event we talked about, the body of your dreams masterclass. So this is going to be on June 15th. That is going to be Yusuf, my man. So we're going to have a man there, and me. So men are going to be allowed to come to this Body of Your Dreams Masterclass. So we're going to open it up, and it's going to be a co-ed class. It's going to be the second co-ed class that we do in the sisterhood. And my man is a personal trainer. He's certified in 100,000 things. He is a health nutritionist. He has so many different things, it's ridiculous. And he's really good at what he does. So he's going to teach us how to functionally move and how to know what your metabolic typing diet is. So what that includes is getting to know what you eat like, what your ancestry, your ancestry ate like, and what that has to do with you today. So it's a really cool practice. It's going to be great information. And if we have time, hopefully, I don't know if we will, I hope to go into a little bit more about how to exercise and what your energy is like through the moon and menstrual cycle phases. But if not, then I can do that in a future class. So we will see about that one. And then keeping the body theme and going into 3D, we're going to be also doing an Egoscue masterclass, which everyone that's been to a full moon event has experienced Egoscue, thanks to Jesseline Taker. So she's going to be coming in and doing a full masterclass on it. We'll be going through different practices. I highly recommend wearing yoga pants for this one, and like maybe a sports bra or some kind of like tank top, so that you can move around, have space for this one. It's going to be a really cool practice, and you're going to be able to get to know where your feet are, if you're mainly on your heels or on your toes, if you're normally on the inside of your feet, on the outside, if you feel balanced or not, and you will feel balanced by the end of this practice, and have different ways to be symmetric through day-to-day format. So it's going to be a really cool practice. We have tons of things coming up for you. Our sisterhood is just getting better and better. It is ridiculous how amazing it's getting. And just to show you, like if you click on these little ones, this is just the sisterhood events. So you can see each one of just the sisterhood events. So you're not confused on like which ones come with the sisterhood, which ones don't. And if you'd like to, for example, end up coming to one of the inner circle events, you have the opportunity to click here and see what the membership is. Or if you would like to just come to one class, we'll tell you a little bit about what the class is going to be like on the new moon and full moon. So you can click on RSVP, and you will have the opportunity to buy. It'll tell you what membership sites, if you have these membership, it comes with it, or you can purchase it, or you can just buy that one ticket item for it. So everything is there for you, ready to go. Happy faces everywhere. Sorry that I couldn't put on my video, and I'm complete. We're good to go for tonight. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.